Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about Barcelona's cash injection. Barcelona is going to be injecting 200 million euros in this upcoming January transfer window. We're also going to be quickly talking about Ronald Araujo's injury forecast and then later speak about Jonathan Tah being linked to Barcelona. It has been said that Tah has been closer to Barcelona than ever before after a meeting between Deco and Pini Xavi. So there is plenty to discuss for today's video, but let's talk about the big news. And it is about Barcelona getting injected 200 million euros, which is another financial lever in January 2025. So in January, Barcelona do have a big plan and they do need to register Dani Olmo, Pau Victor, and Gavi and Pedri's new contracts. Gavi and Pedri are going to be receiving a new contract where it is going to be a higher salary, meaning that the wage bill is going to be increasing. And ultimately, that means that Laporta has to show to Javier Tebas that he does have the capacity to afford Pedri and Gavi's new wages. And you do need a cash injection to do that. And the reason why we have Dani Olmo and Pau Victor in our team today, it is because of Christensen being unregistered from this Barcelona team in La Liga because he got injured and because he was going to be out for the next 5 to 6 months. That is what allowed for players like Dani Olmo and Pau Victor to come in. It is a very similar situation to Gavi being unregistered from La Liga because of his 9-month injury, and then because of that we were able to bring in Vitor Roque very early in January 2024. So Barcelona do have until January 18th to register Dani Olmo in La Liga. Now keep in mind that even though we do have an objective to register these players in La Liga, it does not count for other competitions like Supercopa and the Copa del Rey. Barcelona can use Dani Olmo in those two competitions because it is not La Liga. It's a whole other different competition. And so Joan Laporta's plan is to activate yet again another economic lever, very similar to what we did back in summer 2022. Barcelona are expected to receive around 200 million euros for the sale of the Spotify Camp Nou VIP seats for the next 20 years. And this is nothing new, right? Real Madrid and other European clubs have already done this in the past. It has been said that everybody within Barcelona are very optimistic that they can get this deal done and register the two players in time. Now many might question, but Kevin, what happened to the whole Nike deal? I thought that the Nike deal was supposed to be done by then. And it has been said that the deal with Nike was expected to help Barcelona's return to the 1-1 rule, but Joan Laporta is taking his time and he's pushing this whole agenda, the completion between Nike and Barcelona, to a different date. And they're saying, you know what, let's push this whole negotiation thing with Nike to, like, let's say for example March or April. What we can do right now for a short-term cash injection is to sell the VIP section within the Spotify Camp Nou for 200 million euros. That will be enough for us to meet our objectives. And ultimately, it's what's going to lead to Barcelona achieving the 1-1 rule and achieve normality. Keep in mind that when we do complete this deal for the sale of the VIP sections, Barcelona still have other cash injections that they can do in the future. They still have to complete the sale of a stake in Barca Vision, which is going to be around 70 million euros. And then you also do have, of course, like we have said, the Nike deal. And so keep in mind that several companies have already shown interest in acquiring the rights for the VIP seats in consideration. One is coming from Qatar already, and they're willing to give Barcelona the 200 million euros. Barcelona have also gotten the green light from Goldman Sachs to pursue this lever, and only the final agreement is pending. And they have also told La Liga and Javier Tebas that this is what they're going to do. This is their plan. This is how they're going to meet the 1-1 rule and achieve the registration of Dani Olmo and Pau Victor, and at the same time the renewals of Pedri and Gavi. And so I fully do trust this whole plan. Do I believe that Barcelona, with this new economic lever that we are going to be pulling for January, is that going to allow us to sign new players, like big time world-class players? I don't think so. I believe that all of that is going to be pushed for the summer of 2025. I just don't see Barcelona paying a certain amount for Tah when he's going to be free 6 months later. Same thing with other free agents, like let's say for example Alphonso Davies, Salah, all of these free agents that we are going to be entering to in the summer of 2025. There is no reason for Barcelona to spend a certain amount on those players 6 months before. I believe that if Barcelona were to spend money on a player, it would have to be a player that is not going to be a free agent in the summer of 2025. That would make the most sense. And as of now, I just honestly don't see anybody getting bought. I don't see Nico Williams getting bought. I don't see Leao getting bought. I don't see Gyökeres getting bought. Gyökeres is not going to be leaving Sporting CP because of the momentum that they have been building in the league and also in the Champions League. I do think that, like, if you were to ask me, right, who has the best chance to move in January, I would tell you probably Jonathan David, because Lille are not really competing for anything. There's not really anything at stake. And Jonathan David himself would for sure say, yeah, I'm leaving Lille and I'm going to Barcelona. Peace. It is just a whole other different party for him. And he is for sure going to want to leave. But I don't think that Barcelona will be making the first move. It's just not going to happen. So speaking about free agents, now let's talk about Jonathan Tah. The latest on what we got on this defender, it says here that Jonathan Tah is getting closer to Barcelona. Deco met with Pini Xavi in Germany and the meeting was very positive. The operation is almost done and both parties are very happy. And so So like I've said, Jonathan Tah will be a Barcelona player. Even Sky Sport has claimed that Hansi Flick has a very clear plan for Jonathan Tah, who Barcelona now have good chances of getting. I do think that this is going to be a phenomenal signing. We're going to have a world-class center back and for a very cheap price in terms of the transfer fee, which is nothing, and also the wages. His wages are going to be very low, and keep in mind that Hansi Flick has coached Jonathan Tah before in Germany. Tah is very much relied upon by Bayer Leverkusen and also the German national team. So it's not like we're getting like a B type of player or like a C type of player. It's a type of player, somebody who is always known to be a starter. Jonathan Tah is going to be a great reinforcement for us in the back line. I mean, like, look at us today. Ronald Araujo has not played a single game this season. Same thing with Christensen. I know it's going to seem like we're going to be having too many center backs, but you just never know what these center backs could encounter. Like, what if Kubarsi gets injured for the next 4 to 5 months, a year from today? Then what? Jonathan Tah is going to be looked at. Also, I do think that Eric Garcia is not going to be at Barcelona for very long, and maybe there is that possibility that Christensen might leave. Barcelona do have the chance to flip this player from 0 to 50 million euros in the coming summer of 2025. I know that Christensen might say that he does not want to leave, that he's looking to have more continuity with Barcelona, but we'll see, right? Things really do change after multiple matches being played, because if Hansi Flick shows to Christensen that he does not really count on him, I mean, like, it's going to be pretty hard to like say that because Christensen is a phenomenal center back in my opinion, but if he continues to show that he chooses Araujo, Kubarsi, Inigo Martinez over Christensen, eventually Christensen is going to be making that decision. And so ultimately, I think that worst case scenario, if you guys are worried about having too many center backs, we're going to be having Christensen, Inigo Martinez, Araujo, and Kubarsi. And on top of that, we will have Jonathan Tah. 5 total center backs with great starting material within a starting 11 that requires 2 center backs. And so speaking about Ronald Araujo, it does state here, according to Sport, that the forecast made by the coaching staff is that Araujo will not be included in the squad to face Real Betis on Saturday, as they want him to accumulate several training sessions with the group before returning. This week's training had less load due to the trip to Mallorca. It is now ruled out that Araujo will travel with the squad to face Dortmund, but without any real options to play because he has been out for several months. He would certainly face Leganés on the 15th because it is a home game and it is a easier opponent. He can have few minutes in the second half, which will be the beginning of a progressive return. So if you guys are wondering when Araujo is going to be returning, it's going to be very soon. I cannot wait. I think that all of us are waiting for to have that type of anticipation for Araujo's return, right? We want to see him back. I know that our center back duo of Inigo Martinez and Kubarsi have been just top, right? World class. But there is another step that Barcelona could take, and that is by having Araujo in the back line, somebody who has the capability to cover a lot of space, to defend the counterattacks, right? He has the speed. He has everything that it takes to be a successful center back under the guidance of Hansi Flick. Ultimately, by the end of this season, like in the last 3 months of this season, I would like to see a prime defensive line with Jules Koundé, Kubarsi, and Araujo, and Alejandro Balde on the left back position. That is the strongest defensive line Hansi Flick could place, and that is a very great defensive line. There's a lot of defensive and offensive capabilities that will benefit Barcelona a lot. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.